everybody, I'm Chris Massey, and welcome to the Chris Massey Show here on the American Hearts Radio Network. We're coming to you live tonight from our studio here in downtown Atlanta. Well, you can see I found my cowboy hat and my jacket. It got stolen, and somebody brought it to the Moonshine Tavern Saturday night where I was playing with the CMB, and I'd like to thank everybody that came out to that night. We had a great night. It was really fun, and we're going to be back there on November the 22nd with the Downtown Executive, so make your plans to be there for that. On the last show, I was talking about how much people hate Barack Obama in the state of Georgia. Well, believe it or not, I have found somebody that is more hated than Barack Obama, and the guy's name is Brian Allen. Now, if you don't know who Brian Allen is, he's a sports memorabilia guy, and apparently he got Georgia's fine running back Todd Gurley to sign some autographs, and he gave him some cash for it. Well, that's against the NCAA rules. Well, according to Mr. Allen, he had a deal with Mr. Gurley, and it went sour, so he decided he was going to turn him in. Well, he called Sports Illustrated and tried to sell him the story, and they weren't interested because he wanted to remain anonymous. Now, let me tell you something. In today's world, the only way you can remain anonymous is to be dead. And that's exactly what a lot of Georgia fans would like to happen to you, Mr. Allen. Now, let me tell you, there's a lot of unpopular things you can do in the state of Georgia that won't get you killed. Like, you can be from New York. You can be a Notre Dame fan. You can not like the taste of grits. You can not have any Allman Brothers on your iPod. You can have a vote for Hillary sticker on your bumper. Hell, you can even be a Democrat. But let me tell you something. You turn in the best running back we've had since Herschel Walker in a season when we got a chance to go to the SEC championship game, you're a goner. Now, let me tell you, Mr. Allen, I'm a mild Georgia fan. I've been a Georgia fan since 1970. If I saw you out somewhere, I wouldn't say anything. But make no mistake about it. If two good old boys from Valdosta see you and they've had a bad weekend at the hunting camp, they're going to want to tie you to the truck and drag you around the parking lot for a little while, if you know what I'm saying. Now, let's take a look at everything that's transpired since all this happened. Well, Georgia won both the games that Todd Gurley was suspended from. More than likely, he's going to be reinstated for the Florida game. And he's going to go into the NFL and make millions of dollars. On the other hand, Mr. Allen, you've lost your sports memorabilia business. Who in their right mind is going to sign any autographs with you? And you're going to have to move out of the state. You might even have to move out of the South. So for all this that's happened, we're going to give you the first ever Chris Massey Web TV music show Dumbass of the Year Award. That's right. And you want to know what you get? You get $100,000. Here's all you got to do. Just show up at Sanford Stadium at halftime of the Georgia Tech game and come on down to the field and I'll give you your check for $100,000. And by the way, if you bring a police escort, the deal's off. All right, I got a great show for us tonight. I have got musician Johnny Daly, a very fine singer Joy Fowler, and one of Atlanta's most prominent businessmen, Mike Adams, plus the Hippy Dippy Classic Album review with Leon Smoker and Rachel Jordan. So grab you a beer and relax. It's going to be a good one tonight. We'll be right back.
Calvary Gutter Services, LLC provides quality service to our customers. We are committed to excellence and offer a 2-year warranty on all workmanship and a lifetime clog-free warranty on all gutter cover systems. We are fully insured for your protection. We are experts in copper and half-round gutter systems, which are offered in sizes ranging from 6 inches to 8 inches. Full soffit and fascia systems can be replaced as we install gutters to avoid wood rot and ensure a job well done. We proudly offer Magnolia underdeck systems. We ensure that you are happy with the service we provide. If you need a pro, call us 678-389-7945. That's 678-389-7945. Calvary Gutter Services. Find us on the web at www.gutteratlanta.org.
All right, we're back. My first guest tonight, if you're a solo artist like I am, you need to know people like this. He can come in and fill in on guitar for you. He can also play some steel guitar. Played steel guitar on my last record, Cowboy Heart. He's also done work with bands like the Gasoline Brothers and was a member of Michelle Malone Drag the River. Would you please welcome to the Chris Massey Show, Mr. Johnny Daly. Mr. Daly, come on in. I'm good, man. Have a seat. Have a seat. Well, you know, that's what they paid me for. So, all right. Now, Johnny, we were talking, and you told me that you're from Miami, and You've been living up in Connecticut, and you wound up in Dallas, Texas, playing in a pretty fine cover band out there. And in 1984, you make your way over to Atlanta, Georgia.
That's my story.
Okay. Now, when you get here in 1984, the music scene is really hopping here in Atlanta. Now, were you impressed with the musicianship that you found here in the town when you came here?
Most assuredly so. Yes, it was incredible. A lot of good music, a lot of good talent, a lot of creativity. Yeah.
You had the Satellites playing down at Hedgens. You had all that stuff going on at the 688 Club. Baker Street. Yes. It was
688 and the Metroplex and the White Dot. All good stuff.
That's right. The Satellites, Driving and Crying. I mean, it was a lot of good things going on back then.
Yeah.
So you get a gig. You get a gig with one of the most well-known female performers in town, Miss Michelle Malone. And tell us a little bit about how that came about.
I used to listen to the Georgia Music Show on Album 88, and every Sunday night, it was just a ritual that we used to do. And I kept hearing her singing, and they never told me who it was. And then one day, after about 3 or 4 weeks, I found out who it was, and I found out when she was playing, and I went down and introduced myself. She was playing at Frieleros.
Okay.
And I went
all
down
right.
to
Yeah, I remember Frieleros. Yeah. Over there by the original Fellini's, right?
No, it was on 10th Street, right next to the Cotton Club.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
on
right.
Peachtree Street.
Okay. Yeah.
And one thing led to another, and we just ended up playing together.
Okay. Now she goes on and gets a record deal with Arista Records.
Yep.
And you guys get out on the road, and you did a lot of shows with Driving and Crying.
Oh, yeah.
Like you told me, you did a show, played with people like Johnny Winter and the Average White Band, and played from coast to coast and everywhere in between.
Everywhere in between. I can't remember. We had a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
On that tour bus every day, and that's living the life right there.
We had a van for a long time before the bus ever came around. We called it the Sex Chariot. And we had a good time. We had a really good time. But we enjoyed each other. We were 4 musicians that really got along really well. We were always together. We loved each other. And when you live that closely with somebody on the road, you get to know them pretty well. And you're family. And it's been going on 25, maybe 30 years now. And we're still family. We talk to each other a lot.
How about that?
And Phil Skipper, the bass player, is still playing with Michelle. So
is that right?
Yeah.
Now, you guys got a really unexpected big break one night when ZZ Top was in town, and they had the Atlanta band, the Black Crowes, who had just signed a big record deal. In fact, I think it was their first major tour. And Mr. Robinson, Chris Robinson, said something to the tune that they were not sponsored by anybody, and I think it was Budweiser or Miller that was sponsoring the tour. It was one of the two.
They're one of your sponsors now. Right?
Yes, well, I'm trying to get them signed up. But anyway, they didn't take too kindly to that, so they kicked them off the tour, and lo and behold, the next night you're at the Omni, opening up for ZZ Top in front of a sold-out crowd, and then they took you out on the road for about 4 or 5 shows. Is that right?
5 shows, yeah.
Okay.
Pretty cool.
So you're making a living as a musician, and everything's rolling along, and then 1992, some life stuff happens.
My son was born.
Okay.
Changed everything.
Yep, that'll do that.
Yeah, I was 32. It changed everything. You know,
priorities change.
I don't see how you can have a child and watch it being born and have it not deeply affect you. And I came off the road, and I continued to play, but I wanted to be a part of his life. And I started a business in Marietta, and watched him go to school and played baseball with him, and
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. My daughter was born in 1994, and I'd actually been out of music for 4 years at that time, and I didn't get back into it for about 10 years.
Yeah.
So I was there for all her stuff growing up, and still do some work with her today. It's a lot of fun. Now, you were telling me that in 1999 you had another life-changing thing that happened to you, and you said you would like to share a little bit about that.
I did. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, no problem, man.
The 30s are tough for everybody.
Right.
And while watching my son go to school, I would go home and drink. And I got sober in 1999, so I'm going on 16 years in February.
Hey, man.
Thanks.
Well, I can tell you from my experience, the world is tough enough, and if you're adding alcohol to it, and me myself, I don't drink because I'm not very good at it.
Neither was I.
It can make things a lot more difficult.
I tried and tried and tried. It just stopped working.
Now you got this T-shirt business that you've had for a while, and what's the name of that business again?
Called Windburn Productions. and it's just something I've always been able to make a living at.
Oh, excellent. So if you need some T-shirts or anything, look them up. You can get Johnny on the phone. Johnny, I look forward to having you doing some work on my new album. It's going to be coming out soon.
Thank you very much,
Thank you for
Chris.
being on the show.
Pleasure.
Johnny Daly, everybody.
Pleasure.
We'll be right back. Hi, everybody. I'm Chris Massey from The Chris Massey Show. You know, one of my favorite places to hang out, eat, and play music is the Moonshadow Tavern in Tucker, Georgia. Moonshadow Tavern, they got great food, great drink, and great live music 5 nights a week. Right now at the Moonshadow Saloon, you can go and get 5 appetizers for $5 each. That's right, 5 appetizers for $25. So just go down there and get them. Hell, those appetizers, man, that's a whole meal in itself.
Hi, I'm Rachel Jordan, and welcome to the Hippy Dippy Classic Album Review. I'm joined by acclaimed rock critic Leon Smoker. Leon, how are you doing tonight?
Dan, I'm doing about as good as you can get.
Okay. Tonight we are reviewing the 1986 Mercury record release Slippery When Wet by the New Jersey rock band Bon Jovi. The album made it to #1 on the Billboard charts and stayed there for 8 weeks. The album charted 3 top 10 singles, including 2 number ones. The album has sold 25 million records worldwide. It was the top-selling album for 1987. This album was without a doubt the most successful release from any of the hair bands from the 1980s. Okay, Leon, so I know you don't like bands like these,
That's right.
but you almost got us fired last month with your Loverboy review. So please try to be nice and professional. I assure you, all the heads at the network are watching this tonight.
Is that true, Al? Are they watching?
Probably so.
Okay. All right, then. Bon Jovi is a fine singer, and he has a really tight band.
Is that it?
Well, you told me to be nice.
You don't have anything else to say?
Not that's nice.
This is never going to work. Just do the review.
Are you sure?
They're going to fire us anyways. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. As I was saying, Bon Jovi is a fine singer, and he has a very tight band. You know, you can't question that. But let's face it, these guys write the worst lyrics in the history of music. I mean, man, it sounds like Elmer Fudd wrote these songs, man. It's embarrassing. I mean, whoa, whoa, we've on a prayer. Whoa, whoa, take my hand, I swear. Whoa, whoa, we've on a prayer. I mean, come on, it sounds like a nursery rhyme. And make no mistake about it. These guys are from New Jersey, but they were a hair band. Ain't no doubt about it. And just like all those other bands, Rat, Poison, Great White, they suck. Okay? Now, I didn't mention Motley Crue in that bunch because, let's face it, somebody in your band winds up marrying Pamela Anderson. How bad can they be? But none of those other bands can say anything like that.
Is that it?
Well, yeah, I tell you what, man, I need to get Michael Oye. If you're listening, man, you need to get me some good records on here, man. I mean, this is bullcrap. Styx, Loverboy, Boston, now Bon Jovi. How about some Led Zeppelin? Or for crying out loud, maybe a Rolling Stones record, man. I mean, look, you can't make you can't make a chicken sandwich out of chicken salad.
What are you talking about?
Well, you know what I'm trying to say, don't you?
No, I don't know what you're trying to say. And I tell you what, if we keep doing this show, I'm going to have to start smoking weed.
Well, listen, man, I tell you, it really helps. Listen, if I can get you some after the show.
Shut up, Leon. Shut up. Just take us out.
Well, you don't have to get so huffy about it. All right. Join us next time on the Hippy Dippy Classic Album Review, where we'll be talking about why is Keith Richards still alive? Until then, I'm Leon Smoker.
And I'm Rachel Jordan.
See you next time.
Scottdale Metal Products, your family-owned and operated gutter supply house since 1971. Wholesale prices are available to the public and we offer worldwide shipping. See our full catalog: gutters and coil, downspout, elbows, end caps and miters, outlets, debris protection, hangers K-style, hangers half-round, and many other accessories. Look us up on the web at scottdalemetal.net. That's scottdalemetal.net. Give us a call at 770-922-1330. That's 770-922-1330. Scottdale Metal Products Incorporated, 1520 Parker Road Southeast, Conyers, Georgia, 30094. Scottdale Metal Products is a proud sponsor of the Chris Massey Web TV Music Show on AmericanHeartsRadio.com.
Man, I tell you what, man, if Leon Smoker gets Rachel Jordan smoking weed on this show, Al, I mean, we might as well just hang it up. You know, I think the network ought to go ahead and fire him and get us some more professional. They keep Rachel, but Leon's got to go, man. I mean, what's up with that hair anyway? All right, my next guest has got a voice like an angel. But let me tell you something. When she did backup vocals on my last album, she's got many voices. She can sing in many styles and do them all well. Would you please welcome the very lovely and talented Miss Joy Fowler? Hey, come on in. Have a seat. Make yourself comfortable.
Good to be here.
Yeah. All right. Now, Joy, I first met you when you came in to do backup vocals on my Cowboy Heart record.
Right.
And I can't tell you how many times I've had people say, who's that singing backup with her,
Oh.
He said, well, you need to bring her out to one of your shows. I said, well, I can't afford it, but I would certainly like to have you out there sometime.
Anytime.
Now, you were telling me that you had met your husband, that actually one time when you were singing, when you were a young girl, that he was actually playing the piano when you were singing.
Absolutely.
And you guys got engaged, and then Alan Jackson had split Noonan to go to Nashville.
Pretty much.
And his band was still down there, though, and they were looking for a keyboard player, and your husband answered the ad and brought you along, and
Right.
that kind of turned into a few years of playing clubs and traveling around.
Yeah.
Didn't it?
I went from the preacher's kid. I was singing in Daddy's church growing up, and I went from the preacher's kid to singing in bars
Right.
and pursuing a record deal in Nashville, which ended up being the best thing that never happened to us. I ended up getting pregnant with my son, who is a senior this year at a high school here in Atlanta.
Okay.
And great life change that happened along in there. And one day I was riding around in my car listening to pitch tapes from Nashville, looked in the rearview mirror, and there's my 4-year-old sitting in a car seat asking me, what do those words mean, Mommy? And as I'm trying to duck and turn down the
Right.
volume a few times, it was a little bit shady, and the writing was on the wall that I was just going to take a step away from that industry and make a change.
Now, I got to tell you, that is a big decision because, look, I've heard you sing, and I know that talent wasn't an issue. And in Nashville, if you've got the talent, they can find the material for you to make it all click. So, I mean, you probably walked away from something that might have been very big, but you told me you have no regrets.
None.
And you came back and started working in the Christian music field. Is that correct?
I started doing works for hire, independent thing, working for great folks like you. So I've gotten to meet a lot of folks and do some stuff. I still have work on Cartoon Network here in Atlanta and things. Some of my jingles on Adult Swim and stuff like that. So I did work for hire in and around Atlanta that I didn't have to leave home for longer than just a babysitter for the day, kind of thing. So that was really great. And I got to work with my husband. He's a fine arts coordinator for a school system here in Atlanta.
Right.
And we've been able to, for 23 years, build a fine arts department. And it's just been really cool the way that has played out. We've been able to touch a lot of kids and to build legacy, and that's been really rewarding. So do I have any regrets? I'd like to have a few gold albums on the wall, sure, but they're just gold albums.
That's
having
right.
those kids come back to me and having those relationships, those things, and making a difference that are of eternal consequence.
Well, a lot of people would think, and American Idol has a lot to do with this. A lot of people think that everybody's musician's dream is to be rich and famous. And really what the dream is to be able to make a living and pay the bills doing music, and you're able to do that in your house with what you do and what your husband does.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, when you're a musician, that's about as good as it gets.
It really is. And for me, I had to make the decision that I didn't really want to be rich and famous necessarily as much as I wanted to be respected by peers who knew the industry. I mean, it's one thing for somebody to say, oh, you're great, when they don't really have a lot of background information to know whether you're great or not.
Right.
But to have my peers, my colleagues, bring their children to me now for voice lessons, that kind of thing.
Right.
I started teaching voice lessons. My husband is chronically ill and was in doctoral school at the University of Georgia. Go Dogs. So I was with you on that whole girly thing. I'm with you. Although I don't know where you're going to get the $100,000 to pay him if he comes on the field.
Oh,
I mean,
he's not
going to
showing
show
up.
up. He's not going to show up.
That's all right. I'll get Michael Loya to write the check. Okay.
All right. But anyway, what was I saying? Having the respect of my colleagues has been a really cool thing. So that's been an amazing blessing.
Now, you've got some other things you're involved in. I think you told me that you had this thing that you work with young teenage girls that can't afford dresses for proms, that you have something set up for them, and I think that's just great.
Absolutely. And Chris, honestly, another thing that I would say to aspiring musicians and folks who want to be famous, I think one of the coolest things about being able to do what you do is to have that platform to do other things that are truly worthwhile. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I do is I operate a 501c3 nonprofit, which is a dress bank for young ladies who can't afford a prom dress or a homecoming dress. And if they are enrolled in a high school and can show me a valid high school ID, I will give them a prom dress, and we have over 1,000 dresses in my facility, and I have been able to give away these prom dresses. And what I do personally, from my belief, is that when I give them that dress, I speak into their life and talk to them about value and their inherent value, and that they are worth the wait. I give them a dress, and I also share the gospel with them. Excellent. So I have been able to do that. I gave 75 prom dresses to girls this past May.
Now, you got a couple of albums here we're going to touch on real quick. What you got here?
These are old, but I just brought these for you to share.
Okay.
These are when I did decide to go and do some Christian stuff. It just it was kind of crazy the way it worked out. But I ended up recording a hymns CD just locally, and then I ended up doing a Christmas CD we got some pretty good exposure and pretty good airplay on. But the cool thing is, back when I was doing that thing with the whole Alan Jackson band and such, one of my buddies that I went to school with and grew up with ended up being the band leader for Gretchen Wilson. Right now he's on tour with Colt Ford. He's the producer of the Chicken and Biscuits album. So anyway, he's just my best friend other than my husband. And he called me. I went to see him one night playing with Colt Ford, and he said, "Hey, let's cut a record." And so I said, "Okay." I mean, I hadn't thought about it in a long time. I hadn't recorded in ages, and I was just, again, helping support my husband, who had gone back to school and had started paying the bills a little bit, teaching voice lessons and recording on your album and others, things like that, to kind of bring in a little extra cash for tuition for Georgia, so we could pay Gurley. I mean, what did I say? Anyway.
Yeah, you heard it. That's where they got the money, right here.
No, it didn't happen. It never happened.
You can write the check for $100,000.
That was Cam Newton. It never happened in Georgia. Wait, wasn't it? It never happened in Georgia. Anyway, when I started doing that, I decided to go ahead and record that other album.
Excellent.
So it's fantastic. We got that coming out pretty soon.
Awesome. Now, of course, and you're going to be doing some work for me on my new album here shortly.
I'm looking forward to
We'll
it.
be sending some stuff to it. Joy, thank you so much for being here and all that you do. Joy Fowler, everybody. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Everybody, this is Johnny Van Zandt from Leonard Skinner. You're listening to American Hearts Radio.
Serving Atlanta since 1998, Massey Gutters understands the challenges specific to our area. Massey Gutters is familiar with all aspects of gutters and roofing. We use only the highest quality materials. With our fully trained and professional staff, you are guaranteed to get quality service and work. References available upon request. Call us today for a free estimate. 404-314-6800. Again, that's 404-314-6800. Call Massey Gutters today. 404-314-6800.
All right, we're back. For being a guest on the Chris Massey Show, my guests, Johnny Daly, Joey Fowler, and Michael Adams will receive a 6-month supply of rice-a-roni, the San Francisco treat. Just see Ray down in the security guard downstairs, and he'll get you your door prizes. We also offer you a case of turtle wax. That's right, just like Let's Make a Deal. We're giving away door prizes here because we really appreciate you coming and being on the show. Now, my next guest tonight, I first met him around 2004, 2005 when I was a single divorcee living in a high-rise in Buckhead. And when this guy was down at the pool, man, it was going on. I'm telling you, and I always wondered what he did for a living. Well, come to find out is he takes care of things for rich people that don't have time to take care of them, and he's done very well with it. He's a self-made millionaire, and the Atlanta Journal-Constitution in an article back a few years ago calls him Mr. Fix-It for the Rich. Would you please welcome Mr. Michael Adams? Good to see you, my friend. Come on in, buddy. Have a seat. Have a seat. Now, I had somebody tell me, they said, "No, you're an entertainment show." I said, "Well, you don't understand. Mr. Adams does work for lots of entertainers in Atlanta and a lot of famous people." And now, just briefly tell me, I know you come from a middle-class family.
Yeah, East Cobb.
Your dad was a salesman. Your mother was a minister.
Still is, yeah.
You don't have a college degree.
No.
You went to college,
Yeah.
but you didn't graduate.
Left to make money.
But you left to make money. And so just give me a brief summary of how it all got started.
A family moved here from another state and really didn't know anyone in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. So to kind of help acclimate them to the city of Atlanta, I stepped in and said, let me recommend everything from gutter professionals to architects, auto detailers, landscapers, etc.
And then you branched off with the staffing. You provide butlers and maids and chauffeurs and bodyguards and helicopter service. I mean, I think you told me that you do this for these people too.
Well, it blossomed to introduce you to some people that I know, and it changed, and now it's become a staffing business for nannies, butlers, chefs, anything you need. And we manage hundreds of homes in Atlanta, out at Lake Oconee and in Florida as well.
Now, I've been one of the beneficiaries of this because my company, Massey Gutters, is one of the companies that Mike calls when he needs some work done. Let me tell you what, I've worked on some of these homes before, and they're not small. Let me just put it to you like that. Now, you were telling me that there are, and a lot of people don't know this, I'm sure, but there are 7 billionaires in the state of Georgia, and you represent all of them. Is that right?
Almost all of them, yeah. Not bad.
Not all of them. And I know we can't.
They're all really smart.
And I know we can't mention any names, but let me just tell you, one of the guys that owns one of the sports franchises is a billionaire that I know. You know, so we won't mention any names, but a lot of celebrities live in town.
Sure.
Professional athletes, rappers, all kinds of stuff. Now, and you're the only person doing this. Is that right?
Yeah. There's some people that do similar businesses, but I'm the only one to scale that manages. Really the top address, which is 30327, Buckhead, 30305.
30305,
so anything connected to West Paces Ferry, they have a Buckhead management sign in the yard.
Well, and I know that's the area that you send me to. And I think what's interesting is what you were telling me is that the concept of your business is that time is money.
That's right.
And these people that are in this tax bracket or whatever, they're doing other stuff.
Yeah.
And they don't really have time to do the day-to-day stuff that the rest of us do, and they're looking for somebody to help them out.
That's right. The most important thing to the 1% is their time. Mm-hmm. And if they're not sitting at their desk being a CEO or a politician or a small business owner, they want to spend time with the family. That's the most important thing. Mm-hmm. So to accomplish that, it's cut out meeting with anyone other than the essentials. So other top executives and family members. Right. That's what's important.
And you do not advertise, you do not do any marketing. This is it's been a word-of-mouth business from the beginning. Is that right?
All billionaires and millionaires are friends with billionaires.
Oh, yes, so. I'm sure. Kind of like musicians are friends with musicians.
That's right. Exactly
in a small way.
That's right. That's exactly right.
So you started this business when you were how old?
I was a teenager. I started it, and just kind of as an accident, I was going off to college, and a young family found me and needed help, and I said, I'm from here. I can introduce you to everyone.
And it blossomed and took off.
Thanks to some good, articles being written about me in local magazines and newspapers.
Yeah, Jezebel and the Atlanta Journal did a whole spread on you that you sent me over to take a look at it. Now, how long was it before you knew you really had something?
It was right away.
Okay.
Right in the very beginning, I thought, I'm going to help this family that could afford to pay me what a typical teenager would like to get paid.
Right.
And then it blossomed because of the streets. The families are all connected with other families. And I knew pretty quickly that if I could sell something that you can't buy in the market, which is time, I've got something.
You do. You absolutely do. Now, if you don't mind me asking you, Mike, how old were you when you first made your first million?
Oh, listen, I never talk about money. I never
Well,
thought
I had
about
to.
money.
I had to ask.
Everybody
you have
has
to understand.
tried.
But I'll tell you this. You're the American dream.
Yep.
I mean,
Only in America.
you went out there and said, look, I'm going to make money, and in order to make money, you went out and found people that have money.
Sure.
To make money.
And Atlanta's a great city for it. This was the perfect storm.
Oh yeah. Because I'll tell you, all these big houses and out there and everything, and they're old. They need constant upkeep.
Yeah.
All the time.
Constant management, and then when you develop a relationship with a family, they entrust everything with you. So we handle everything from the very beginning to the very end. So helping you find your lawyer, your accountant, the right doctor, and these are people coming in. Then Atlanta families that have been here forever.
Right.
They need the service just as much as people moving into Atlanta.
I got you.
So it's multi-directional in the sense of how we find clients, how they find us, and how we keep them forever.
Okay, I got it. Now, the name of your company is Buckhead Management.
Buckhead Management
And you
Group.
got some exciting things happening now. You're doing some work down in West Palm Beach. Is that right?
Palm Beach, yep.
And you're branching out a little bit.
Also Lake Oconee.
Lake Oconee. Yeah, I know there's a lot of wealthy folks that live in Lake Oconee. I know that we were talking about earlier, Joy, Alan Jackson has a big lake house out in Lake Oconee, and of course we also know that Ben Roethlisberger has a house out there.
Well, Big Ben, okay.
Yeah,
I haven't got him yet.
He got in a little trouble out there. So if you may need to get him some legal services sometime down the road.
Absolutely.
You never know. Well, Mike, I have to tell you this, that I'm just a regular guy, a construction worker, and a musician, and you're a very successful person, but you've always been as nice and down to earth to me and everybody that lived when we lived over there in that high rise over there.
Sure.
And I think that's part of your secret.
I can't wait to get you as a client.
Well,
I work for all these wealthy entertainers as well.
Well, I don't know if that's going to happen, but anything's possible.
That's right.
The one thing I know about the music business is this. I don't know what's going to happen, but I do know what's going to happen if I don't do it. I do that. So,
yep.
Mike, it's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thanks.
Please come back and see us
Absolutely.
anytime. Mike Adams, everybody. Buckhead Management. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for a great night out? Are you in the Atlanta, Georgia area? Are you looking to check out some live, awesome music during the week? They have keynote, poker tournaments, horseshoes, and special events. It's all at the Moon Shadow Tavern. That's at 3976 Lawrenceville Highway in Tucker, Georgia. That's the Moon Shadow Tavern. Give them a call, 770-674-2133. Check out their selection of great food, friendly service. Visit their website at msttucker.com. That's www.msttucker.com. Moon Shadow Tavern is a proud sponsor of the Chris Massey Web TV music show on www.americanheartsradio.com. Make sure you told them that American Hearts Radio sent you. Visit their website, check out their great selection of food, appetizers, wings, burgers, sandwiches and wraps, steaks and chicken, salads and sides. Also their drink specials. Live music during the week. Check them out. Give them a call, 770-674-2133.
All right, we're back. I'd like to thank my guests, Johnny Daly, Joy Fowler, and Mike Adams, Rachel Jordan, and Leon Smoker. It's been a great show here tonight. Our Tuesday, November 25th show has been moved to November the 11th. I've got some guests in mind. I got to see if they can make it for the 11th, so I don't know about that as of yet. But on November the 17th, we're going to have a whole night with Daryl Rhodes, the Atlanta legend that's played with the likes of James Brown and Chuck Berry and is a stand-up comedian that travels all over the country. So please make your plans to be there for that. And like we always say, Al, super job as always. Always love your woman. Take life as it comes, and when you get the chance, have too much fun. We'll see you next time.